Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Up next in our entertainment and pop culture segment brought to you by OGPay.com, we're featuring my awesome friend, iHeart's very own radio DJ, Maxwell. Now, you can catch Maxwell on our famous Z100 in New York weekdays from 2 to 6 p.m., hosting the Maxwell and Crystal Show. Maxwell is also a member of the iHeartRadio National Platform Digital Content Team as a contributing host, conducting interviews with stars like Ed Sheeran, Lady Gaga, Harry Styles, BTS, that's just to name a few. He's a hybrid radio personality and pop culture correspondent. And of course, Maxwell has the unique ability to extract personal truths from the most celebrated artists in the music and entertainment industry. Now, we all know that radio has come such a long way since its inception, evolving alongside technological advancements and societal changes. From the early days of AM broadcasts to the emergence of digital platforms and podcasts, the medium has continually adapted to meet the demands of an ever-changing audience. And as technologies progressed, radio underwent a significant transformation with the advent of FM, what we call frequency modulation broadcasting. Now, FM radio offered improved sound quality and a wider range of frequencies, allowing for this clear reception and much better coverage. This shift gave rise to specifically and specialized music formats and genre-specific stations, catering to specific interests and targeting what we call niche audiences. And FM radio became a powerful medium for showcasing music and launching careers, shaping popular culture. Today, we're chatting the evolution of radio from AM to podcasts, Maxwell's fascinating career, and how he balances it all. Welcoming now to the show is the awesome Maxwell. Welcome, superstar.
Zen. Thank you. You can thank ChatGPT for that little bio right there.
Exactly. No. This incredible story of when you talk about we're still here on radio after all these years. When you look at these digital formats, to me, it's fascinating how hosts like yourself, how hosts like myself have been able to make it sexy again. I would like to start from the beginning. How did you get started in the radio industry? Can you tell us more about your journey to becoming a famous DJ on iHeart Z100?
Oh, I can totally do that. I started in college. I played college sports, which was really kind of interesting. I didn't really have those full aspirations of being a radio guy when I was in high school or college until I started to realize when I was playing college football that a lot of the guys on my team were a lot bigger than I was, and that the NFL wasn't going to come looking for like a short little guy like me anytime soon. So I always have felt comfortable in front of crowds. My mom and dad always told me I was that kid that was, performing at family get-togethers and all that good stuff. And I kind of, thought, let me lean in on this my senior year of college. And I graduated with a communications degree. So it kind of felt natural, just kind of doing that type of a thing. But also, I loved seeing that my words and what I could do as a DJ behind turntables, or even just as an MC, a host for a party. I love to see how people moved and how I could affect the mood of a room. And I said, yeah, this is going to be my thing. So started in radio in Central California, and I made my way from Central California to New Orleans for a little bit. I lived in Lafayette, Louisiana for a while. Then shot up to work at WNCI in Columbus, Ohio, one of our heritage top 40 radio stations within iHeart. I worked in Philadelphia at Q102 in Philly, and that was just where I started to smell New York, the good and the bad smells of it.
Literally.
Literally. But I knew that was where I wanted to be. Z100 had always been that iconic family, that iconic logo that, from the top of the Empire State Building. I knew I wanted to be a part of that team. And I was blessed enough to make my way to Z100
and here you are today.
Here we are.
Now, tell us, what sets your show apart from others? I mean, on the airwaves, there's a lot of great shows that iHeart has. I mean, we have 850 really powerful radio stations across the country, if not more. But how do you maintain your unique style and keep listeners so engaged?
I think really what it is, it's the balance between myself and my co-host, Crystal Rosas. We are ourselves, and I think that there's something to be said about being truly authentic from our vantage point. Listeners can smell if you're lying to them, and it's way too difficult to keep up a lie than to just be who you are.
Authentic.
Yeah, so there's
Crystal
that.
Rosas is amazing. We had drinks at Beach
Right?
Cucina last week, or maybe 2 weeks ago. I was with Lala and Lulu as well. You missed a great party, by the way.
Yeah, dang. All right.
Yeah, we were just doing it up big before the air.
But that authenticity, right, is like what it is.
She's amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
So that's what's special about our show is we get to do that. We get to be the companions between the listeners' favorite songs that we play on Z100. I mean, we're playing the biggest records on the planet. So that's special. And then when we get the opportunity to talk to artists, we're able to, just truly have fun, enticing, and engaging conversations with some of the biggest names on the planet. I mean, I'll just full transparency. I was a little tardy to come in here today because we had Anita, who is just one of the biggest global superstars on
Huge.
Earth, sitting there sharing so many just special, fun stories. I don't want to give away too much of our interview, but it's just because people feel comfortable because we're just being ourselves. And I think that that's something that sets us apart.
And you have that it factor. You walk into
That's
a
right.
room and you're just charismatic. Now, let's shift a little bit. In recent years, the integration of radio with social media and these digital platforms has really brought about this like new era of interaction and engagement, right? Like
Yeah,
radio
for sure.
DJs and personalities now connect with their audiences beyond the airwaves, leveraging social media platforms to really foster the sense of what I like to call a community and
Yeah.
provide the additional content like
That
behind
was our
the
community
scenes.
chiming in right there. With the
That's right.
sound.
They're like, we're here.
We're here.
Listeners can participate in live chats now. They could request songs and engage in discussions, creating this more immersive and interactive radio experience. How do you specifically like to connect with your listeners outside the radio? Do you engage with them through social media or other platforms outside of your show?
Yeah, I mean, all of those. It started for me when I was in Columbus, Ohio. When I worked, it was right around 2006, 2007, 2008, when I started to really see the evolution of social media. That was when Twitter was first happening. That was the early stages of YouTube. And I remember being at that radio station thinking to myself and creating content that wasn't just for the radio. I remember having a conversation with my program director at that moment in time saying, I want to be Googleable. And
So
he was
true.
like, well, yeah, you have to be. And
He's like, what's that?
yeah, that was exactly the conversation. He's like, what are you talking about, dude? And I said, well, these are moments where when artists start to come into the studio, I want to not just sit, with a microphone and have a conversation with Katy Perry. At the time, Dance Dance Revolution was hot in the video game space. So I was like, what if we set up a video camera and I'm playing Dance Dance Revolution with Katy Perry, the very beginning stages of her career, and we put that on YouTube? And he was like, dude, yeah, let's try those things. So it was a matter of just utilizing all these resources to be
Brilliant.
relevant in all the different spaces. And, what I didn't realize at the time, I do now, moving some 14, 15 years later, whatever it is that I was formulating those early stages of what radio is now.
Is now.
It is
like
exactly
the digitalization of radio.
100%, right?
Similar story when I got to OR about 3 years ago. They were like, digitalizing radio. What are you talking about? How do you do that? And I said, well, because all your listeners are not just driving.
Yes.
They're on their phone. They're holding the device in their hand and they could listen to you from anywhere in the world. And it was the hardest concept for some of the older, marketers, even in general, when you're speaking to station managers or programmers to get their head around it. But they've done a great job here at WR. Everyone
Yes.
gets it now because we push social media so much. Now, the digital revolution, to your point, really brought about this other pivotal moment in radio's evolution, right? The emergence, if you're going to go back on the timeline of internet radio and streaming services, really offered this unprecedented accessibility and customization, very much similar to how right now it's basically offering, on social media platform, a gateway for the younger Gen Z and Gen Alpha. Like this is where they used to be with the internet radio, right?
Yes.
Now-
Yeah. You're speaking my language.
Okay, so here we go. Listeners now, I've taken you back in time. We're now able to tune into their favorite stations from anywhere in the world, opening up a world of diverse programming options, right? Similar to what the social media is doing for our generation. And then furthermore, the rise of podcasting introduced an entirely new way of consuming audio content, right? And podcasts allow people to explore the vast range of topics from true crime to comedy on demand at their convenience, which then when you take this show, it turns into a podcast, a digital podcast that you could download, and we trend #1 in edutainment for a reason. Now, I'm going somewhere with this. So radio has evolved significantly with the rise of streaming platforms and podcasts. How have you adapted to these changes, and how do you see the future of radio broadcasting and specifically podcasting?
It's allowing a free-form conversation with talent and personalities. It's allowing for more in-depth conversations. That's where I see, the evolution going, especially for those consumers. What I create on the airwaves of Z100 are little sound bites. We're not talking for very long on our show, but what I'm hoping to do is build that connection that will then allow me to, on a podcast platform, dive into a little bit more of my personality, into whatever it is, what the conversation is, and to bring those listeners who are listening to Crystal and I on Z100 to more of who I am that I'm not able to really fully divulge in between the newest Lady Gaga and Taylor Swift record, and I think that that's exactly what podcasting does. It allows for people to, dive deeper into their true passions, and it allows those fans on whatever other platform those artists are. As we see a lot of people podcasting, they're actors, they're entertainers, they're athletes that, an NFL star doesn't get the opportunity, or an NBA star doesn't get the opportunity while they're on the court to talk about their love for Pokemon cards. But that's who they are. And through the podcasting platform, it allows them to really, explore that, that part of their personality. And it shows, how their fans are really coming to them for that compelling content, that authenticity, again, like we just said minutes ago, of that particular entertainer that is that's connecting. And it's just something that's going to continue to grow and grow as people find ways to express their passions and ways to express and tell their stories. And that's why I think that the future of this is going, it's branching out, it's utilizing one platform to branch out into others and to be more Googleable, like I said.
Be more Googleable. Yeah. It's leveraging all of these various platforms and allowing people to be able to access your show at any given point in time that they want, because it's all about on demand and accessibility. OTT, OTA, YouTube, social media are so important for branding and for brand recognition, because
awareness, whatever. If somebody finds me first on a podcast and they circle back and they hear a funny quip or something that I say in between a Harry Styles song, and they just so happen to love Harry Styles, that's going to help keep them with me on the radio station. It's all
and now you have a loyal listener.
There you go.
So how do you prepare for your radio shows? Because you do come prepared, and all the facts about everyone you're interviewing. You remind me of, similar to my character, like I need to really be on top of my whole process here. Do you have a specific routine to ensure you deliver this high quality content every time?
What I really love to do, especially when it comes to, let's say, show prep, is I just love to cruise social media and entertainment based websites, and really just kind of be dialed into pop culture on the various platforms that we have to go out and to do a search. When it comes to artist interviews, I'm not going to try to give away too many of my secrets, because I want to keep some of these gems, you know what I'm saying? But
in the vault.
Yeah, but what it really comes down to is I don't ask too many questions more than it is just listening. If I'm with whatever artist it is, I might take a couple of little bullet points to what they're either promoting at the time or what they have done recently, or something that really means something special to them. And I'll maybe ask one or two questions. And then it's all about, from my vantage point at least, is listening.
The floodgates open.
The floodgates open. And if I'm just listening and I'm following the conversation, like we're just having a conversation here, then
that's like the DJ hack. Just 3 floodgates open. Sit back and relax.
Sit back and relax. It makes my job that much easier. It makes that person who is the global superstar across from me feel that much more comfortable, because they're not being bombarded with a barrage of bullet point questions that they're running through the promotion, because they've been doing this for, literally 8 hours during that day.
With 10 more
with 10 more to
radio
go. Yeah.
DJs. Now, are there any artists or bands that you haven't had the chance to interview or feature on your show yet, but would love to?
Jay-Z, bro. If you're
Really?
watching, Jay-Z, Hove, holla at me, man. You know what I mean? No, but all jokes aside, yeah, I would love to have a conversation with some of these icons. I've been blessed enough to, especially within the top 40 world, to talk to some of the biggest of the big.
Yeah,
the Gagas, like I said, the Ed Sheerans, the BTSs, the Taylor Swifts.
Oh, you're up there.
Yeah, so I'm not trying to name drop or nothing.
You've got a VIP list. Like, no one's competing with Maxwell. Maxwell's got his own house because Maxwell's got his own house for a reason.
Goes. Just wipe your feet before you step in.
Yes,
That's all I say.
yes. Yeah, and it's not. It's like it's like the different houses. It's the one that made out of wood. No, that's not the one that Maxwell's in. Not the one made out of. It's stone. Your house is made out of stone, Maxwell. Now, what's your favorite part of being a radio DJ?
I really love the connection. That's what whether it's with an artist or it's with a listener. I love that I get to connect with the folks, with the people who are listening on the other side of the speaker. It could be someone calling in to share some good news with us on the radio. The fact that they're choosing, my show to do that and to broadcast that to the world. It's all about that. It's all about creating that instant bond, that shout out, that if you hear me say hi to you on the radio, that still gives you little goosies. You're telling me the butterflies flutter, because I still get that same feeling when I reach out to friends and I hear somebody just shout me out on the radio. It's that connection. It's that one-on-one. And that's what I think that is really special still about radio, is that's something that we can provide. That's a thing that I can provide that no other streaming platform truly can, is that one-on-one camaraderie, that connection that, I'm your buddy between your favorite songs, like I said before.
Oh, you're everybody's buddy. What is your secret to balancing this insane schedule? I mean, you're everywhere, and you're. I never see you sitting still, other than when you're behind your microphone.
A lot of alarms on the phone. A lot of reminders. I do make sure I get my sleep. That's one thing that I am pretty adamant about. But yeah, it's just a matter of. And delegating, that's another thing. You know what I mean? Delegating certain responsibilities to an intern, to someone within my team who I can fully trust to get, some of those little things done, and knowing that they can get that stuff done while I can go out and do, another project. And it's just all about ticking things off of a checklist. I'm pretty good at writing things down and saying, all right, I got that done. All right, I got that done. It's just being diligent with, making sure that I'm very
preaching to the choir. This is my life. I live in a slot. Everything is in a slot. But the other day, my husband's like, "You even put sex on a slot. What's wrong with you?" I was like, "Do you want it or not?"
For real.
Like what?
Because I could erase that.
Exactly. I could just press delete. And he was like, "No, leave it." I was like, "At least you know." So I get it. Okay, I get it. Well, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you.
Same. This is like the coolest thing, because I love when I get to have these conversations with like-minded people within this world, and folks that are really understanding that it's an evolution, it's a growth. And, like some of those early days, how I recognize that this is going to become commonplace for us. It really set me up to be in this position now, that if I was waiting, to be told to do some of these things, to think about other types of content creation and how to bring that to the airwaves and why that was important, I wouldn't be sitting in the position that I am. We wouldn't be having this conversation.
100%.
So that's what I really love about, when we are passing through the halls and we kind of do that little, you see what's going on? Yep, because we get it, we understand it. And I hope that others that are in my position coming up and growing, look to you or I or Crystal or some of the other amazing entertainers that are part of radio now.
You are 100% on it, and I say this to people all the time. You can go knock on every single door out there, and maybe nobody will open. So you know what? You go and you build a door, and you let yourself in. And that's what you did. You build a door.
Yeah. You
build a door, and the very door that you build, that you stepped into your graces, is now what's happening in the evolution of radio. And that's why I chose you for this specific topic, because you have not just evolved with radio, you have made radio evolve. There's a big difference. And And I take my hat off to you because you're doing your homework, you're doing your job, and it's not just about speaking into a microphone. It's
No.
about that connectivity with your fans, with the audience, but even with other hosts and with the
Yes.
people that we work with, and loving, getting up every day and knowing that you're going to touch even one or two lives.
That's
I mean,
all.
it's like you're everybody's therapist.
Thank you. No, thank you for that. That means the world to hear, because there are moments in time where, you forget about it because we might be just in a studio with no windows and you don't really get to see that outside impact. But it's those moments that you do get to step outside and you meet a listener, or that person calls in to, like I said, to connect, to share that little tiny moment. You're like, okay, boom, there we
Boom,
go.
there you
That's
go.
why we're doing it.
Well, thank you so much for
And-
coming on.
No, thank you. This is so awesome.
All right, guys, you definitely have to check out the awesome Maxwell. That was our entertainment and pop culture segment brought to you by OGPay.com. My awesome friend, iHeart's very own Maxwell. Definitely check him out. His conversational style and, more importantly, interview style, coupled with the demeanor of a veteran journalist, creates a genuine exchange that both informs and entertains audiences everywhere. Crystal Rosas is amazing. Do check them out on Z100 every single day. You can catch them. Check them out on the gram, in Maxwell's house, and definitely check out Maxwell on Twitter at Maxwell's house. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Caldwell Soames Incorporated, investing globally in transformative businesses like Original Digital Corporation, or ODC. ODC develops advanced consumer and commercial fintech solutions such as OGPay, which will transform the way you manage your money. From sending and receiving money globally for free, paying for goods and services in person and online, pay bills, buy and sell digital currencies, all while earning interest. OGPay is easy to set up, FDIC insured, and your information is secured. Check out OGPay.com.